It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Football in full gear on this Monday, but it is 9/11, and we remember 9/11. On this day, it's hard to believe 22 years have passed. I vividly remember exactly where I was, what I was thinking when that first plane went into the tower, all the lost lives, and in fact, just, I believe yesterday, 2 more identified through DNA matching that they didn't have 22 years ago. They do now, much more technical, better technology, and now they can actually match you a little bit better. But 22 years ago, the planes into the World Trade Center, and those thoughts are with us for all of New York. It has been amazing how they have rebuilt, how their spirit went on. It was a great story on CBS Sunday Morning with Michael Bloomberg, who was involved in rebuilding that area, and what they've just, beside the memorial, now they have this arts center entertainment thing, so that you have the grieving and you have sort of the recovery and brightness right next to one another. I think well done. Just hearts go out to those that are the ones that survived this terrible tragedy and all the families that lost their loved ones. So we think today, I think all Americans do, of that time in New York City, believe it or not, 22 years ago. So much football to talk about. Tigers, Arkansas State, the SEC games. John Thompson will join us at 10:25. Jason Munz has the day off. He's on a little vacay. That doesn't mean the news stops. This is breaking news. The Tigers have committed 4-star combo guard Jared Harris. He apparently sent this to Joe Tipton on Twitter, now known as X. Once a Tiger, always a Tiger. He's in a Tiger uniform. My son has told me that if you look at the video of this guy, he's unreal. And the Tigers beat out a lot of good schools. Kansas and Alabama and LSU. A lot of good schools that were after this guy, and he is committed. So there's your first of this class. Now, if you can get this guy, and you can get Billy Richmond's kid, and the other young man who went to MUS now goes to a school like an IMG. He's a point guard. J-Mo, give me the name. Brian Dacus knows this name. He's sitting right next to you.
He's looking. He's blanking. He's trying to find. I'll look myself.
Oh my gosh, he's too young to have this brain freeze that I always get. He's a really good player. Givens maybe is his name. Is that it?
Curtis Givens.
Curtis Givens. How about that? I pulled that one out. Curtis Givens. Those 3 guys, that would be the heck of a start of a class that you would then add transfer portal and woo. Penny keeps doing it. It is a pretty phenomenal story, that is for sure. All right, let's get to football, because really that's where we are. And I should remind everybody, we're in the Family Leisure Studios. The world's biggest spa sale is back. It's bigger than ever before with 50, count them, 55 different models to choose from 5 different manufacturers, and up to 30% off on the in-stock spas and even the swim spas, 24 months, same as cash. Get to I-40 and Whidden Road. That's where this thing is going on at Family Leisure. And you know our title sponsor, it's Homer. Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, where the lot is full. I passed by there, I don't know, I guess it was early last week, and it's really easy to get there now because they fixed Highway 78, which is Lamar. You just turn at the first exit, Mississippi Craft Road. Really easy to get there. They've got as many automobiles, whether it's the brand new, beautiful Hyundais, the best technology, or the luxury car, the Genesis cars, or whether it's the pre-owned cars. We're back to pre-COVID levels. And get them in now, because when they settle the strike that the UAW is pushing for, they want 46% more money. Car prices are going to go up. If I were you, I would head on over to my friends at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Cash in while you can. So the Tigers went to Arkansas State. And I will tell you, the Arkansas State-Memphis series, people get upset if you call it a rivalry. It's been going on since 1923, okay? That was the 62nd meeting. So I don't know what you think a rivalry is, but when you've played that many times and there is the proximity of 70 miles, you get there in about an hour and 15 minutes. Come on. To me, that's somewhat of a rivalry. And most of the time, the games have been pretty interesting. Not this week. Butch Jones, in his tenure at Arkansas State in Jonesboro now, is 5-21. This year, his Red Wolves have been outscored 110-3. 110-3. Like, if I were going to Vegas before the season began and I tried to get a prop bet on that, what would my odds have been, J-Mo?
They would be so high they wouldn't even give you a line on that.
I think you're right. That's absurd to be that bad. And here's what's, I hate to say it, but here is what's sad about it, because, you know, Butch Jones was actually a good coach at Central Michigan. He was a really good coach at Cincinnati. It disconnected for sure at Tennessee. Was he above his head? I don't know. He can recruit because he's had the best recruiting class in the Sun Belt for the last 3 years. I'm telling you, I did my homework on this game. He's got multiple school transfers. So maybe those don't work out all the time. The quarterback, Shrout, he started at Tennessee. He was a 5-star guy. Didn't work. He went to Colorado. All right, Coach Prime cut everybody, right? And you weren't going to beat out his son. So this is his third school. They had a receiver, Corey Rucker, who killed Memphis, was a freshman All-American, went to South Carolina. We learned last week that if you transfer back to your original school, you can do a second transfer without penalty, not being a grad student. He's a good player. They have several guys who are really effective transfers from Power 5 schools. And yet 110-3? Now, Oklahoma's a good team, and I think Memphis is a good team too. But 110-3, there's a total disconnect. J-Mo, look up real quick who they play this week. I want to say it's a Division II school.
Stony Brook.
Stony Brook. If they were to lose that game, you might be saying goodbye to Butch. When do they open up Sun Belt play right after that?
Yes, Southern Miss the next week at home.
Southern Miss. That's right. Southern Miss now in the Sun Belt. If they were to lose that big, and the Stony Brook game isn't like really impressive, you might be saying goodbye to Butch Jones. Because there is clearly a disconnect between that team and that coach. I don't care how bad you are. 110-3 in 2 games?
What's so peculiar about it to me is generally if a guy has so much success at like a mid-major or something like that, goes to a power conference, doesn't have success, they'll return to a mid-major and have success at a school like that. That's because it very much is a different vibe when you go to a power conference like that, to something like that. So it's peculiar to see him return to something like this and still struggle. I hope there's not an external problem that we don't see. Sometimes that's a factor in all this.
I will say this to you. It's puzzling because I don't think he was, like I said, I think he was a good coach at Central Michigan and Cincinnati. And Cincinnati isn't like just a mid-major. Cincinnati was a really good group of 5 school at the time, with a good budget and a brand new stadium. And, he was an effective guy. And you're right. There is a step up when you go and you're involved with a full stadium of 100,000 and a real microscope on you throughout the state. Remember, at Central Michigan or Michigan State get all the views. In Cincinnati, hate to say it, but right down the road at Ohio State, they get all the state views. You get Tennessee, they're looking at you. And it did not work out, but this has been a total disaster. As far as the Tigers go, this defense, let's keep in mind it's Bethune-Cookman and the very bad, as we just mentioned, Arkansas State team. But you've got to go back to 1928, 1960, and 1963 to see defenses in the first two games. In 28, it was the first four games they shut out guys. That comes courtesy of my producer, Danny O'Brien, by the way, that knowledge. You got to go back that far to see a Memphis team in the first two games give up as few points as that defense has. Really, it's only three, because the 14 that Bethune-Cookman scored on were both touchdowns from turnovers. The defense scored the points. So, for the other team. So this is really, I think he's got it going. But let's wait. Navy on Thursday, short week. In Navy's win over Wagner, they threw the football 10 times. I think that's just to kind of put something into the to the head of Ryan Silverfield. They got to go triple option, right? That's what they really do. New people, and maybe new wrinkles, like the passing aspect of it all. Still think, watch out, they're going to fake that little belly play and then pitch it wide. And you really got to change. Now, you worked on it in spring. You probably worked on it a little bit in fall camp because it was the third opponent and it was coming on a short week. But we'll see. It would be nice to start off 3-0. There have been a couple of really good starts in the Ryan Silverfield era. So we shall see. One thing that concerns me. Didn't in the first game, did against Arkansas State. They could not get the running game going. I'm very confident in the center and the two guards. Both of the tackles kind of worry me, and I think they kind of worried Ryan to begin with. We'll have to wait and see, because if you're going to be successful, if you're going to allow Hennigan to be the best that he can be, you have to run the ball. You have to have balance in today's game. I believe that. If they're not worried about you running the ball and all you can do is throw, and especially when you get to third and long, you got a problem. So we shall see. That's the one thing I was concerned about after that. I love Hennigan's consistency. The footwork was improved this week. Everything was on target. He missed his first 3 or 4 for various reasons. I think he hit 19 of his next 20 passes. And he hit 8 different receivers. We see Tosky Dove can fly. How about Anthony Lamphere? He looked like he was Kobe Drake as a possession receiver at tight end. That's a nice weapon to have. And it just goes to show you can lose a guy like Caden Prescorn. And I'm not saying this guy's going to have those kinds of numbers, but that tight end is still going to be used in the arsenal that Tim Cramsey and Ryan Silverfield have. So those are the positives. You're 2-0. Short week. You got Navy. That is coming up. So did you watch much of the U.S. Open this weekend?
Oh, very much. Yesterday's match was incredible with Djokovic. And at one point, there was a point they both were on the ground. It was unbelievable. I didn't see any of the women's final, though, but I saw the highlights of it.
What was that, 44 shots in that rally?
That's right. Unbelievable point.
Joker's unbelievable. We're going to do medals because we will not have our good friend Jason Munns today. We'll do those in the final segment. But just think about this, right? Now he has tied Margaret Court in any era for the most major championships, Grand Slam tournament wins. He's got 24. Think about this, J-Mo. He has won a major in a third of the Grand Slam tournaments he's played in. How about this? He's made the final in half of them. That's incredible.
So you can pretty much, flip a coin and that Joker's getting to the final. And how many of those even were like at the early in his career when he's coming up and there's these dominant players at the top two? Imagine what it would be if you just look at his level of like the recent dominance, how many times he'd been to a final, how many times he wins.
And he was a guy, I can't remember if it was Ivan Lendl that told him this or whatever, but he changed his diet totally. Maybe a third of the way through his career. I'm talking about Novak Djokovic. And
gluten-free diet appeared.
Exactly. He went gluten-free, and that's when this incredible run started. Changed his diet. Maybe he was allergic to food, some foods that didn't give him stamina or whatever it is. But once he made that dietary change, the guy's been magic. And I mean, think about that. He's 36. All he's got to do is win one more. He's the greatest of all time. 25 beats Margaret Court. He's already beaten Federer and Djokovic and Rafael Nadal. He's already got that the men's all time. Now he's tied past Serena, tied Margaret Court, one more, and you got to think he's going to get it, right?
I certainly think so. I'm reading more about the diet that you mentioned here. After becoming gluten-free, he eventually settled on a vegan diet. Sometimes eats fish, but that's as far as he'll go. He claims the vegan plant-based diet cured his persistent allergies and asthma.
That's what it was.
It's unbelievable. And the gluten-free diet has been credited for improving his endurance on the court and playing a role in his subsequent success.
Well, there's no question that just modern science has helped, in particular, tennis guys. Because seriously, when I was a kid growing up, and I'm not even a kid, when I was watching this stuff seriously, McEnroe, Connor, and all those guys, even Agassi, 27 years old, that was your prime. You hit 30, you never won. This guy's winning at 36. Federer, Nadal, winning in their 30s. Sports medicine, new ways of training, and also diet and learning more about it have prolonged the life of a tennis player. No doubt in my mind about that. USA basketball, not a good last couple of games. Medal round, not very good for the Americans. They not only lose in the semifinals to a German team that won the whole thing. Congratulations to Germany. That's a good team. They lost to Canada. They didn't get a medal. The Canadian got the bronze. And who do you think was the star of the Canadian team?
There's one that was a star in that last game.
He was good throughout.
He was.
You know, I didn't realize this until I was reading the story. They were booing him in the Philippines.
That's right. From game one.
What did Dylan the villain, Dylan Brooks, what did he do in the Philippines that they were booing him?
I think it's just like that's what the basketball fan does with Dylan Brooks now. Just the generic basketball fan sees Dylan. That's his role to the fan base.
He loves this. He thrives on this. He wanted to be the heel. He's like the wrestling guy, wants to be the villain. Well, it worked. All he had was 39, 24 in the first half or something like that.
That's right.
39 points, hit 7 threes. He beats the United States. And you know what they were chanting? They went from Dylan the Villain Booze to they were chanting MVP.
I know he loved that. That's great. I'm a Dylan fan. It truly made me happy to see his success in this tournament, in this final game in particular.
Crazy. All right, real quick. You were talking about home dogs and how we should bet those. By the way, you were 4-2. I texted you, said I'd change my pick if Michael Pratt doesn't play. Are you giving me recognition of that?
Certainly.
Then we're both 4-2.
Certainly. Oh, but those two that I missed, though, I changed them right before the... No, just joking. I'm just joking. No, we're both 4-2.
You hadn't contacted me.
I didn't contact anybody. You're right.
Well, I hate to say this, but the guys on the way in the car, when I said, if Michael Pratt doesn't play, I had texted J-Mo. This is Greg Gaston and my son Jacob Woloshin, that I'm changing my pick if he doesn't play. And they both said, you can't do that. You made your pick. I said, well, we'll see what J-Mo says. You've already granted me that immunity.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Look, these things are fluid, Dave. There was no exchange of funds or anything like that.
You're a giving guy.
That's right.
So we're both 4-2, so I still remain ahead of you in those picks. Again, Glenn Rogers Jr., he was magic. You realize he was 6-0 this week in his picks?
I didn't think he could do any better than he did last week, and he proved me wrong.
Yeah, 6-0. All right, 8 of the 14 games played in the NFL this week. The road team won the game. 8 of the 14 on Sunday. The winners, no question, Dallas made a big statement in New York City. San Francisco goes to Pittsburgh. Some people think Pittsburgh's going to be in the Super Bowl in the AFC. Forget about it. San Francisco wiped them up. Cleveland, a big winner. Green Bay, Jordan Love, the Packers just own the Bears. They have since they got Brett Favre. Then they went to Aaron Rodgers, even Jordan Love. He could have smoked a cigarette back there, waiting and looking. Absolutely crazy. Losers, Seattle. A lot of people think Seattle's going to be a team. Got killed by the Rams. The Vikings. Now it looks clear that Detroit's the best team in that NFC North. Cincinnati just signed their quarterback to a forever contract for $270 million, and they promptly lose, and then my Bears. Every year I get excited. Every year they break my heart. Really. Just, I don't know what's going on there. Tonight, Monday Night Football, Bills-Jets. We've been waiting for this one. Damar Hamlin not playing. You know, he's come all the way back. He played in the preseason games. He's on the 53-man roster. Did you see any kind of explanation as to why he's not playing?
Yeah, give me just 1 second. Let me find it.
I saw that he was not playing, and, you know, I think they're still rehabbing him. I'm sure that there is some fear about all that. But kind of sad that not playing tonight, and I did not really see a reason given.
There isn't one. He will just be a healthy inactive tonight.
There you go. Healthy, inactive. So there you go. This portion of the show brought to you by Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, cold showers, no way to start your day. So purchase a new water heater from the pros at Conway. Call 384-3511. You can get an efficient tanked water heater, or go like I did with the new technology, which is much more affordable now, and get a tankless. Oh, man. You never run out of hot water. You save money because you only will heat the water you use. And you may be eligible for up to $2,000 in federal tax credits. Just call 384-3511, the number for Conway. To Atlanta, we had in just 1 minute. Our coach, John Thompson, is standing by on Wolo and Friends.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
This is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Choate's is offering some amazing specials for this month only. If you're considering upgrading your furnace before the cold weather comes, Choate's is offering $1,000 off a new Carrier furnace. If you don't need a new furnace, Choate's is now offering its early bird $60 furnace tune-up. This 22-point tune-up includes a free carbon monoxide test and heat exchanger inspection. And Choate's is your indoor air quality expert. For the best quality air for you and your family, it's recommended to have your air ducts cleaned every 8 years. This month only, Choate's will install a free UV light system when you get your air ducts cleaned, a $500 value. Call us at 347-8086 to take advantage of these amazing deals. So, turn to the experts with Choate's, and remember, let our family serve your family.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRIEND to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Hey folks, Ryan McElroy here with Sunrise Buick GMC. I know the temps are going up, but the prices are dropping here at the Sunrise Super Summer Sale. Huge selection of new and used cars, trucks, and SUVs. Discounts up to $6,500 and a $12 million used car inventory. If you're not 100% happy with your car, don't pay another penny on it. Top dollar for trade-ins, or we'll just buy it from you. Bad credit, slow pay, bankruptcy, it's okay at Sunrise. Call, click, or come on in to any of the 3 Sunrise locations here in town. Covenant Pike, Wolf Chase, or Carnival, come check us out at sunrisememphis.com. We make it fun to buy a car.
Everyone agrees that 117 Prime is Memphis's premier downtown dining experience. But what if you could go one step further and have 117 Prime at home? As hard as it is to believe, 117 Prime, which features some of the best food in Memphis, is available for curbside or takeout. Imagine just swinging by Prime and picking up not just something good, but something great. 117 Prime makes the best steaks in Memphis, and you could eat it in your living room. The best food in Memphis. Enjoy the way you really want to. Pantsless.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
We head to Atlanta in a minute. Our coach is standing by. That would be John Thompson, who is jealous of one thing about Memphis, because he loves golf and he's a pretty good athlete. He never gets to play Miramichi. I've said, come here, I'll provide Miramichi. I was there yesterday. I'll provide it for you. He's too busy. But you aren't, and you got to take advantage of the weather. And the prices, after 12 o'clock, the prices, they get taken down a little bit. After 3, even more. Great practice facility. I'm telling you, you cannot beat the scenery. You can't beat the competitive level either. It can be hard. There's 5 different tee boxes. You can make it a little easier, and you can't beat that back 9, that meandering stream, the waterfall, the whole deal. And they were having fun. The greens are in unbelievable shape. In Woodstock, 19 minutes from my driveway in East Memphis. It's the great Miramichi. John Thompson joins us now. Coach, this is an interesting...
Well, you got to rub it in early, don't you?
You got plenty of places in Atlanta, but they don't have the class and pizzazz.
Well, they don't have you. They don't have you.
There you go.
That's what I would like to play. I'm looking forward to it.
I got a quick question for you. I didn't write down for you, but I know you're tough. So, think about this. LSU, a loss. Alabama, a loss. A&M, a loss. All 3 of the predicted winners of the West of the SEC with an L. Do you think between the Mississippi schools, Arkansas, and Auburn, there could be an upset winner of the Western Division of the SEC?
Those 3 teams are still pretty good. LSU, I think LSU is really, really good. I think of those 3, I think they're probably the most talent-laden. Bama is still trying to find themselves. They got some issues that Texas bullied them.
Yeah,
I felt like, and that's not what you see from Alabama. And A&M, you just never know about A&M. I mean, I was so surprised they played Miami so straight up, no pressure, no pass rush. Their offensive line was not that good. I was disappointed in that game. But Mississippi State, as long as they got Will Rogers, they got a shot. But I just think of all those teams, LSU's the wild card. And I think it's going to be one of those 3, A&M, LSU, Alabama. But LSU's definitely the wild card right now, in my humble opinion.
Give me your sense of what happened in New Orleans with Ole Miss and with Tulane. I got to give credit to my buddy Stat Snores, where he thought it would be a close game, and then attrition in the fourth quarter would knock him down. I thought, this is me personally, I ended up watching critical stretches in that fourth quarter from our booth in Jonesboro, And I thought he was nuts not to take points, and he goes for it on fourth down. And in my opinion, the wrong call works out correctly for them, and they end up taking a 10-point lead. But your sense of how good Ole Miss is, because, you know, they're ranked, and, heck, they don't have a loss yet.
No, and I think they beat a very good team.
Yeah, I think Tulane's really good.
I do, too. Very well coached.
They were playing without Michael Pratt, too, their quarterback.
Yep. Sure were, and they expected to win. They reminded me the way they play of those old Southern Miss teams in the late '90s. That they were not intimidated at all by that. Hey, Dart had a good game. I think Dart was probably the difference in the game. But Ole Miss's offensive line might be a problem down the road. It really could be a problem, but because Tulane is early in the game, really exposed them, put a lot of pressure on them. Whether it's attrition or just, I don't know what it was, but they did. That was a huge call that when they did make it on the fourth down, that changed the whole momentum of the game, I think. And now it's just, Tulane has got to, they're not in the SEC. If they'd have been in the SEC, maybe the mindset would have been different. But I've played in a lot of those games when those things don't happen like you want them to happen, and the tide kind of turns against you there, and they end up beating them by 2.5 scores.
Yeah, that definitely changed things, and even got the Rebels their cover. So it's going to be fun to watch, because now the door is open for Sam Pittman in Arkansas, and any of those schools. And, you mentioned Zach Arnett and Will Rogers at Mississippi State. They know they've got a half a step now ahead because the big boys have lost. Let's talk about Bama and with Texas and the way that game unfolded. A lot more points in offense than I would have thought.
Well, Texas to me was clearly the better team. Overall, offense, defense, kicking game. And let me just go back to one thing about before I forget about when LSU and Alabama and A&M, what's going to make a huge difference in that is they already have one loss.
Right.
LSU, their one loss was to Florida State, but that's going to make a huge difference. But going back to Texas and Alabama, you know what? Hey, Milrose is exceptionally talented. He's faster than I thought he was. He threw a couple of really questionable interceptions, but when you think about it, it's kind of easy to look. Alabama in the spring was still looking interested in a transfer at quarterback, so they may not. They may be back to when they had Jalen Hurts and Tua was a freshman. They couldn't figure out how to do that and get the right guy in there. But I think and they almost pulled him in this game. And just reading some of that, so Milrose is looking over his shoulder. But Texas manhandled, and you don't say that much. They manhandled at the line of scrimmage. They manhandled Alabama at the line of scrimmage. That may be a little over the top manhandled, but they got 5 sacks. Maybe not 5 sacks. They got 5 sacks. SACK.
We got it.
Got it. You got it. Okay, I'll move on. And Texas was more physical, and then they won the turnover battle. That's winning the game, and it was, as you watched the game, if you didn't know the score, you could tell which team was winning just by watching it without knowing the score.
Now, Texas is going to play Oklahoma later in the year. You think Texas is good enough, and now that's a big W for them on the road? Do you think they're good enough to be a playoff team?
Right now, I sure do. I definitely do. With the Urs, the way he is playing, he just looks like he is in total control. He looks like he is just a natural back there. He's been a little twitchy the last couple of years, would make a big play and then do something foolish. He didn't look like that at all on Saturday. He looked like that he was in total command of the offense and running the team and doing that. And so And you go back to all of these games, the quarterback that plays the best usually wins the game. And of all these games that we're talking about, the quarterback that played the best, his team won. I mean, that just tells you how vital that position was. But definitely, Ewers played better than Melrose.
How about in the shootout in Miami? A&M had a good start to that game and then still lose 48-38. Again, a lot more offense than I would have figured.
No doubt, a lot of points against two that should have been really good defenses. And there were some kicking game scores. There was a kickoff return score that there should have been a holding on. But I go back to that game again. I mean, DJ Durkin, people that know him in the Mid-South, knows that he wants to dial it up and come at you, but they just created no pass rush, nothing. And Texas A&M's offensive line, I really expected a whole lot more of them, but they weren't a factor. But I think A&M's going to be a force. They'll be a force in the West. I mean, like everybody else we're talking about, but that was really an odd game to watch. Texas A&M's wrecking crew defense that did not play that way at all.
LSU, Mississippi State, South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Florida. All three of those games are interesting this week. This comes after Tennessee. I mean, they were down near half 6-3 to Austin Peay, for goodness sakes.
I know. Well, they knew who they played next. I think they know that Florida's coming in, and that can happen. I would not put that's probably to Tennessee's advantage, and Hype will get them going on that. I don't look at that as being a factor at all. I think Tennessee, they don't have quite the talent in my mind. And just because of the line of scrimmage that Georgia does, but they've got talent all over the place, and they've got speed, and they're going to spread it out. Florida's in trouble. There's so much going on down there with Napier and his job and trying to do that. They're scrambling. When I was coaching down there, if we played a game and we lost, you'd have to walk across a road to get to the practice field. Well, if you won, everybody would stop and honk their horns and wave at you. When we lost, you couldn't get across the street because they would try to run you down. So it was they're having trouble in Florida right now. So I think Tennessee's catching them at a good time, and I'm gonna go ahead and say I don't know what the spread is, but it probably needs to be quite a bit, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was just looking for spreads, and I don't know that they're out yet. J-Mo, is there a spread on Tennessee, Florida? Also LSU, Mississippi State. All right, here's a chance. Mississippi State's at home, 2-0. They're going to have a great crowd. You know that. Here comes LSU. They beat the heck out of Grambling after, getting sort of dominated there in the second half by Florida State. What do you think happens in this particular game?
Hey, Mississippi State is such a hard place to play. It's the loudest place that I ever went to. A lot of people think that other places in the SEC, that's the loudest stadium I think that there is. But LSU will play them tough. But I tell you what, I just like Mississippi State's quarterback.
Will Rogers.
Yeah. I just think I think he's the best quarterback in the league, all things considered. And when you got that, now I was disappointed in Mississippi State's defense their first game, not so much last week. But so they're going to have to play. They're going to play good defense, and they're going to have to play really, really well on the line of scrimmage. And LSU will be better than they were against Florida State. So we'll see about that one.
LSU's favored by 10. By the way, Tennessee only 6.5.
Oh, man.
I'm all over the Vols on that.
Yeah, I would be too if I did anything like that. Don't do it. Don't do it. They're college kids. Do not gamble on college individuals.
Last game.
Or try to make a living off of it.
Exactly. Don't do parlays. That's the biggest thing I always tell everybody. They're suckers. All right, last game. South Carolina, Georgia, your neck of the woods.
Bulldogs, man, are they got a little bit of everything. They're better and better. And you watch games. You watch the NFL yesterday, and you see all these ex-Bulldogs playing in the down in the line of scrimmage and making it. They got the same kind of guys. They got it. They're too good right now. South Carolina struggled in their opener. I think this is a one-sided affair. I think the Bulldogs roll and roll big.
I think I agree with you on all of that. John, thank you much as always. We appreciate it. We'll talk a whole bunch of. I didn't. Last thing, really quick though.
What you got?
Butch Jones outscored 110-3 in 2 games. He's 5-21 in Jonesboro. Does he make the season?
Well, they got to get some support. There's not going to be many people. Memphis, coming in, they had maybe 20,000 at that game, but they're not going to have a lot of people at this game. And he's got to get it going, man. He has got to get it going, and it's just he uses the word culture a lot. Well, you got to get them playing, and if that's culture, but they're playing very poorly right now, and it's sad. I wish they were. I thought. Hennigan played good, but it used to be close. Those 2 programs used to be close. Right now, Memphis is so much better. They're so much better, especially in the passing game. They didn't,
I would have to say to your word culture, I would add one other word: disconnect. Culture disconnect. That's what's happening in Jonesboro.
Well, you're a millennial. Those are the words the millennials use, I guess. I'm not sure what I am. I'm just a little bit older guy.
I know this. You're younger than me, so
good deal.
There you go.
Good deal.
All right, Coach. Thank you much. Appreciate
Thank you, man.
it.
Appreciate it.
We'll talk next Monday. That's our guy. That is John Thompson. He is brought to you by the good folks at Grind City Brewing, right downtown Memphis, a real taste of Memphis, including my favorite, what the doctor ordered. That's Poppy's Pills, the Pilsner. That is their best seller. There's the Godhopper, the India Pale Ale that I think is terrific. I think that's number 2. The new products, the Amber Lager called Thaddeus, the Blue Moonish kind of thing, the Belga, that's the Belgian-style wheat ale. Those are always hot. Tiger Tails, the craft malt liquor that is unlike any malt liquor you've ever had. This is all the dream of a father and son. It became a reality. It is such a cool place downtown. Go check it out. Grind City Brewing. And by the way, you can get their product all over town. Back in just a minute, we got precious metals. They're next.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Whether it's date night, a birthday, or just because, raise a steak in celebration at Ruth's Chris. Open in the Regalia Shopping Center at the corner of Poplar and Ridgeway. Treat yourself to one of our classic USDA prime beef steaks, seasoned and broiled to perfection. Then serve sizzling hot on one of Ruth's signature 500-degree plates. Visit Ruth'sChris.com to make a reservation. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, Memphis. This is how celebrating more is done.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cash back app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRIEND to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
For the latest from the world of golf, tune in every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 for the Golf Shop Radio Show, presented by PlayGolfMyrtleBeach.com, the golf capital of the world. Hosts Mark Greenhelge and Matt Blanchard talk golf from tee to green and everything in between. If you like golf, you're going to love Golf Shop Radio. Before you tee up, drop on in. Welcome to the Golf Shop, here on Sports 56. Real sports talk.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Wouldn't it be cool if you could see what was coming before it got here? My guy Sheldon Rosengarten, there's people who like to say Sheldon with Mark Spensdorf. He can't tell you what's going to happen in the future real estate market, but he can sell a home no matter what the market is. Whether the interest rates are rising or they're falling and the inventory is increasing or decreasing, he's done this for so long he knows what to do and just exactly when. It's that highly successful strategic marketing program that you need to hear about if you're going to sell. It's that simple. He'll tell you, talk to 2 or 3 people. Make sure he's one of them, and then he'll tell you about that strategy that always works and gets you to the closing table the quickest with the most money. All you got to do is go to MemphisRelocate.com and see what I'm talking about, and then call 483-0546. You'll benefit from his experience and his method of working for you. That's Sheldon, 483-0546. On Mondays, usually a little earlier, we do a thing we call Precious Metals. I got a lot of them. I'm going to give a bronze medal to the University of Texas and the University of Miami. They made statement victories. A&M and a lot of people thought they were going to go down and really show what they're all about this year with Bobby Petrino combining with Jimbo Fisher. 48 points. Wow, that's pretty darn impressive. And then there's Texas. They go into Alabama, and win that game. I mean, I think it was pretty decisive. That statement. I got to give a bronze medal to Dylan Brooks. From villain to hero, we talked about it before, 39 points to beat America. To get a bronze medal for Canada, he'll be on that Olympic team for sure. What do you think his endorsement stock in Canada has done?
I truly think it's skyrocketed. Like you said, I mean, he now has a brand, and it's not a positive one. It's the villain, but that's how you market yourself.
But he could use that. There's got to be products that would like to be associated with, like the underdog rough guy.
Very much so.
I think he's really set himself up incredibly. I got silver medals for Dallas and San Francisco in the NFL. They made statements on the road. Dallas, can you believe what they did to the Giants in New York City?
I believe they said it was the largest margin of victory in Week 1 for the Cowboys in team history.
I mean, it was never close. It was crazy. And San Francisco going into Pittsburgh, they made Kenny Pickett look like a very average quarterback. That has diminished a lot of the early enthusiasm in Pittsburgh for their Steelers. You ever hear of a guy named Joe Salisbury?
Brian says he went to Memphis.
He played tennis at the University of Memphis. When he was there, he holds the record for doubles victories, Joe Salisbury does. Now he holds in Grand Slams a record. He and his partner have won 3 straight U.S. Opens in the modern, or since they've been keeping record for 110 years. No, not even the Bryant brothers that were terrific. No doubles team had ever won 3 in a row at the U.S. Open. Joe Salisbury's dead. And then I got to give the Germans, Schroeder and the Wagner kid and all those guys, the three-point shooter, what's his name, Obst or whatever it is.
He turned it on in a big way those last 2 games.
Well, they won the gold medal. They beat Serbia. Who would have thought Germany and Serbia would be playing for the championship? Most thought it would be USA, Canada. It wasn't, and Germany wins the gold medal. Congratulations, they get a silver from me because it's the Olympics that really count. And then my gold medal, Coco Gauff wins her first major championship at the age of 19. She's clearly the new darling of tennis. She's on the Today Show. We're going to see her in every darn advertisement from here on out. But you know what? She's cute. She's bubbly. She's very nice. She's got charisma. Good for her. Coco Gauff, her first. And Djokovic, the greatest man of all time now, 24 slam. He's won a third, I mentioned this, of the majors he's played in. And he's made the finals in half of the major tournaments he's played in. That stuff's unheard of.
I'm still reeling at you giving a gold or giving a silver for a gold. I love that. That's
it's not the Olympics.
It's not the Olympics. You make a good point there. My bronze medal has to just go to the entire minor football theme today, man. My bronze goes to the entire National Football League back yesterday. I mean, I was, like you said the word bubbly about Coco Gauff. I was bubbly. The energy was palpable in the room with me just watching NFL Game Day morning yesterday. It's my favorite league, and it's back yesterday, and I loved every minute of it. My silver medal goes to 2 standout performers. They happen to play on the same team. Tyreek Hill yesterday, he said before the season his goal is to be the first receiver to ever get 2,000 yards in a single season. He's on his way yesterday. 11 receptions, 215 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Think Chiefs miss him?
I think so. Certainly after their game on Thursday night and no receivers on that team. And then my gold medal goes to the guy that was throwing Tyreek the ball, Tua Tagovailoa, who a lot of people are skeptical about, deservingly so with his injuries last year. And he responded in such a big way. His teammates, his coaches have said such positive things about his attitude. 28 for 45. 466 yards and 3 touchdowns. It was an unbelievable performance yesterday.
Really was. 2 Russ for me. 1, USA Basketball. I know you went small. And I know, and we should point this out, a key player, Memphis' own Jaren Jackson Jr., did not play in the game. Now, there's their best big man, really, particularly on defense, right? And he wasn't able to go because of illness. Did they ever specify what illness he had?
Let me look.
Anyway, they lose to Canada in the bronze medal game. First of all, they're supposed to be. They're America. They're supposed to be in the gold medal game. And then you can't lose that, especially lose it to Dylan Brooks. My gosh.
It does not specify illness.
Yeah. Well, they could have used him. And it became more and more apparent as this tournament went on that big teams are going to exploit the American weakness of not having bulk inside. And I'll bet you that'll be fixed by Paris. My question for you is, you know Joel Embiid? He has dual citizenship. Do you think he should play for America? Does that count?
I don't know if it should, but we sure would like to have him on there.
Well, I know he's got the option. That would go a long way. And then here's my final rust. This stuff is really bugging me. I could not watch the Bears and the Packers at my house. You know why? It was the national game of the week on Fox. You know why? Because we got a rights fee battle going on. So if you got DirecTV right now, you can't watch CBS. Can't watch Channel 3. Couldn't watch golf. Can't watch the NFL on CBS. If you got Fox, Comcast in a battle with Fox, you can't watch Channel 13. Can't watch the NFL. If you lived in the Northeast where Spectrum is, another Comcast kind of a entity, it's their biggest cable system, you can't watch ABC ESPN. So you can't watch Monday Night Football tonight. You can't watch any of the ABC college football games or college on ESPN. It's crazy. They got to get their act together, and you know what's going to happen, don't you? Your cable bill, which is already outrageous, is going to go up. This is why, the kids are smarter. You, I'm sure, J-Mo, are smarter because you stream. So you're able to figure out a way to get it on there, streaming, and all you're paying for is your Wi-Fi, and you're never paying a rights fee like that. And I know, I'm not going to name names, I know of several people that are really smart and have been doing it for years. They can get any game they want to. They can even get pay-per-view, and they never pay. I'm not smart enough to do that.
I'm not going to throw myself into that boat live on the radio.
Look at that. You're choking.
Just a little bit.
You're absolutely
but I tell you,
choking.
I'll echo that for my. Or is that all your Russ there?
Yeah, that's
okay.
it.
So I'll echo your Russ there. I totally agree with you right there. And I don't know who to blame more. Is it the cable provider? Is it the channels themselves that are selling it? The companies that are selling it? It really doesn't matter. My best advice to everybody as a good alternative for right now until they get this done. Go out to Target, Best Buy, any store, get yourself an antenna. They cost like $20, $25. You'll get all your local network stations. Some stations that come from the network that aren't even provided.
Can you get them in HD?
Absolutely. You screw it right into your cable. It all comes through in HD over the air nowadays. Go get yourself that. And I'll tell you what, if you're somebody that also likes to gamble or just somebody that likes sports and wants to be as close to live as possible, the antenna is, over the weekend they did a study, 18 seconds ahead of most all cable providers even. So go out yourself and get yourself an antenna. You might even like it even when they do reach an agreement.
So are you saying 18 seconds ahead that you can get a bet in quicker? Or?
Oh, very much so. Like, you're seeing it as live as they will possibly provide. You're probably seeing it exactly on that 5-second delay that all of the games are on.
That's very interesting.
And if you have a streaming service, it's up to, yes, this weekend I saw the worst one was YouTube TV. You're up to 49 seconds behind an antenna if you use YouTube TV to stream games. So I can't recommend enough.
Wow,
go out and get yourself an antenna.
Pertinent information there. Right there. That's amazing. But the worst part about all this is you know who's going to pay? You and me.
That's right.
You're Rust?
Oh, that was it. I echoed you completely. That was mine.
The same thing?
Yeah, absolutely. You know I'm a TV guy, Dave. I was 100% on board with that one.
And those are our medals. Wow, this hour has flown by, that is for sure. A reminder, Monday Night Football tonight. We got it right here. Bills at Jets at 7 o'clock, but you're probably out from this weekend. So I'd go right to 4848 Poplar Avenue. That's Poplar and St. Nick. It's that little log cabin. That's a little inside, right down from Clark Tower, called the Spirit Shop. It's been there forever. Eddie Connor and his family have run this thing and owned this thing since the 60s. It's their passion, and their passion is to pass along good savings to you, but it's also to get you to know more about spirits. You can get local stuff in there, like Grind City, or you can get valuable bourbon like Pappy's. You can get the latest in vodka or tequila. Whatever it is, they've got it. They've got it at a good price, and you'll get a whole education from Eddie Connor and his family. That's Poplar and St. Nick. Stock up at the Spirit Shop. That'll do it for us. Johnny Radio is next. We'll see you tomorrow.